Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and Giants trade rumors are heating up thanks to ESPN and Jeremy Fowler. They put out a list of 20 surprise trade candidates, and our job here at Chat Sports is to present you guys with the rumors. We talk about it. I take the pulse of the fan base. So let's get after it. This is going to be a surprise to a lot of people, but Kadarius Toney was mentioned by Fowler in the ESPN article as a top 20 NFL trade candidate. And we got quotes. We'll pull the quotes. I don't really agree. We'll expand on it. But Toney played in just 10 games due to injuries last year. And Joe Schoen was not the man that drafted Kadarius Toney. That was Dave Gettleman. So I understand where Fowler was coming from. We'll pull up his quotes in a second. But at the end of the day, when you trade someone just after 1 year, and they had some pretty good games like Toney did, we'll show the stats, it doesn't make the most sense to me. But hey, we talk about rumors. I tell you how believable they are, and I want you guys to sound off on them. So this is what Fowler had to say about the Kadarius Toney trade rumors and the idea of him getting traded. He said this: he's cheap, entering the second year of a rookie deal, and incredibly talented. But new general manager Joe Schoen didn't draft him. Dave Gettleman did. So assessing his value doesn't hurt anything. Then an NFC coach on Kadarius Toney also sounded off in that article and said he's either going to be the best receiver in the league or it completely won't work. And I'm not sure there's much in between. He's electric with the ball, but there are still some concerns about focus and availability, and I understand that. He played in just 10 games. It seemed like injury after injury kept popping up. But I'm not ready to get rid of Kadarius Toney, but I feel like my job is to talk about these. So this is a trade idea that we talked about in the office today, and some people said they would do it in the office. Some people said they wouldn't. I would not pull the trigger on this deal because I think Kadarius Toney still has the potential to be a top receiver in the NFL. Definitely a guy, when the ball is in his hands, can be one of the most dynamic weapons in the NFL. And hopefully Brian Daboll can put him in a spot to be the most effective player he can be. But get your votes in. Would you make this trade? Type A for agree, or if you don't agree and you would not trade Kadarius Toney, go down in the comments and type D for disagree. This will be the pinned comment on the video. So if you get hit with a YouTube ad break, scroll on down, get your video, your comments in, and in the video, by the time you scroll up, we'll be back playing. Do not trade Kadarius Toney. Joe Schoen, I beg you. Kadarius Toney showed enough in his rookie year to be held onto. What he did against the Dallas Cowboys with Mike Glennon at his at being the person throwing him the ball was absolutely spectacular. You look at the raw numbers and you're like, man, he really didn't play that well. 57 targets, 39 receptions, 420 yards. That's pretty high. Wink, wink. But at the end of the day, when you play against the Cowboys and you have 10 grabs for 189 yards, and against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 7 grabs for 40 yards, and then against the New Orleans Saints, 6 grabs for 78 yards, this guy showed enough for me to be able to have him stick around for a long while and believe in him. The Giants, they can't afford to trade cheap playmakers, and that's what Kadarius Toney is right now. He's on his rookie deal. He's still got 3 more years to go, and the Giants can decide on their 5th-year option. I don't believe you trade or give up on a guy like Kadarius Toney. It's way too early in the process. Hopefully Brian Daboll can get the absolute max out of him. Maybe they use him in an Isaiah McKenzie type of role. He's a better player than McKenzie, but I could see him filling that type of role on this Giants offense for the 2022 NFL season. Sound off for me. Maybe you didn't like that last trade idea. Maybe if the Giants got off for a first-rounder, you'd pull the trigger on it. But let me know. Should the Giants trade Kadarius Toney? If you think so, go down and type your K for keep, or if you want to trade him, go down and type your T for trade. If they trade him, or if they trade Saquon Barkley, who we're going to talk about in a minute, make sure you're subscribed and have your notifications turned on. This is the type of season where everything happens just at a random time. So you want to be notified every single time we drop a video. Hey, I'm subbing here. Go down, hit that big red button, join the fam. Giants news and rumors all year long. Oh, fine. That was my producer in my ear. I had to say that. But also, another person mentioned by Jeremy Fowler in ESPN as a top 20 trade candidate was Saquon Barkley. This is true. Trading Saquon Barkley would save the Giants $7.5 million in cap space. And at the end of the day, the way the Giants' salary cap sits, this is something that Schoen and Daboll and Kevin Abrams are going to have to think about. Because at the end of the day, Saquon has not lived up to the amount of money he is getting paid this year. But Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll, they spoke really highly of Barkley in their introductory press conferences, so I'm not sure they're just ready to get rid of Barkley. But this is what Jeremy Fowler put in that article about Saquon Barkley. It might be time. It has been 4 years. Barkley has high-quality traits, but the Giants need to exhaust all options for their rebuild. Enough teams are still enamored by his skill set that they could be interested in a potential deal. Many still view Barkley as a top-shelf tailback when healthy. He's due $7.2 million on a fifth-year option, and doing a long-term deal in New York for the 2023 free agent just doesn't make sense for either side. Barkley in San Francisco's offense would be fun, and Tampa Bay could have an opening if free agent Leonard Fournette signs elsewhere. That all sounds good, Jeremy, but at the end of the day, I'm holding on to Saquon Barkley. It is in my belief that Brian Daboll is going to make Saquon Barkley great again. Joe Schoen's going to draft 2 linemen with the first 3 picks in the 2022 NFL Draft. Then you have Andrew Thomas and 2 other top picks on that offensive line. That's going to make the life for Saquon Barkley much easier. But here's a trade idea that we also cooked up in the office today. Some said yes, some said no. Would you trade him to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the 60th overall pick in the 2022 NFL Draft? I am very curious where all you guys stand on this, so get in the comments and be active. Would you make this trade? If you would, type M in the comments for make, or if you're like, nah, no way, I love Saquon, go down and type P for pass. If you're looking to, get a Valentine's Day gift for your boy or maybe your girl, go to chatsports.com/NYG sale. They are running all types of awesome deals. They got this 2-shirt combo and also another one in a lighter Giants blue that you can get. They have all types of deals and all types of accessories and merch on sale. Maybe you want to get your girl something. You want to wake up next to your girl and she's rocking Giants merch. Do it with this deep V-neck, or maybe do it with this gray V-neck. I promise you there's nothing like a Giants girl that you can call yours. So go do it. Valentine's Day is around the corner. You don't want to be late. That can go either way. But chatsports.com/NYG sale. One more time, chatsports.com/NYG sale. You got to use that link to get the deal, so go do it. I doubt the Giants trade Saquon Barkley. The way that Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll have talked about him, Schoen said he really liked him. Daboll said he's intrigued by him. He's heard nothing but good things about him, and he thinks he could be a pivotal piece in this offense. This is exactly what Joe Schoen had to say. I'm excited about Saquon. When he came out, he was a rare talent. I know he's had some injuries, and that comes with that position. We talked a little bit about where we may need to upgrade. I think if you upgrade the offensive line, that's going to help Daniel Jones, and it's also going to help Saquon Barkley. Daboll then said this: he's a talented player who was selected high in the draft, who came out of a good school at Penn State. I haven't heard a negative word about him. He's a good and talented young man. We will try to use his skill set the best we can. But the question is, can Saquon Barkley get back to this player? What he did in his rookie year in the National Football League, averaging 5 yards per carry, over 1,300 rushing yards, 15 total touchdowns, and 91 receptions. He did that in 16 games. In his next 28 games, yikes. Only 1,600 yards, 4.1 yards per tote, only just 12 total touchdowns, and 99 receptions. Saquon Barkley needs to get back to being that player he was his rookie year, and I think that solely depends on the Giants putting the necessary offensive linemen around him. Get a good offensive line, and Saquon Barkley can be great again. But get your votes in. Maybe you didn't think that a second-round pick from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 60 overall, wasn't enough. Maybe you think you got to get more. Maybe you take less. Answer this for me. Should the Giants trade Saquon Barkley? Remember, trading him saves $7.5 million in cap space, so keep that in between your ears. Type Y for yes or type N for no. Build the offensive line and keep Saquon Barkley. I just firmly believe, maybe I'm being biased, maybe it's because I have a Saquon Barkley jersey, maybe it's because I love him, I firmly believe him coming off the second year of his ACL injury. And if you build this offensive line up, he can be one of the best running backs in the National Football League. He can get back to that rookie year form with 90 grabs, 1,300 yards, over 15 touchdowns. This can be one of the best playmakers in the NFL, and I really would like to see how Brian Daboll is able to use him in his offense. This is going to sound crazy, but I would only trade Saquon Barkley for a first-round pick. I still hold him in that high of a light. I really believe and deep down in my soul that he can still be one of the best players in the National Football League. He was a top back in his rookie year, and that was with a terrible offensive line. Imagine if you got a top 15 offensive line to build holes and create running lanes for Saquon Barkley. Imagine him getting 2 yards past the line of scrimmage and being untouched. He had good games this year. What he did against the Saints and what he did against the Commanders. Yeah, that still sounds weird. Those were 2 solid games, and those games still make me believe that this can be a great running back for the New York Giants. But let me know. Maybe the Giants have to trade him. Maybe they can't afford to keep him on the books for $7.5 billion. Maybe they have no plans to sign him next year. Maybe you want to trade him. What would you trade him for? What is Saquon Barkley's trade value? Get in the comments and let me know. If the Giants trade Saquon Barkley, the first place you can find out about it is on my Twitter, at @MarshallGreen_. I'm tweeting about the Giants all day, every day. I love this team, and I love everything about him, and I love Saquon Barkley. So please make Saquon Barkley great again, and hit me up, give me a follow on Twitter, send me a DM, let me know you came from this video, and I'll give you a follow back.